Salakia, I'm gonna just make this a part two. I don't know how far I can go, but I'm gonna try anyway. And if not, I'm gonna do more when I get back to the house. But yeah, continue from part one. Yeah, a lot of them is against us for no reason at all. And then make matters worse, we against each other. Like I said, the Mexicans are mad at the niggas for no reason. They don't even have a reason to be mad at them. When we all come from slavery, we all got our asses kicked by this white man. You need to focus on who the enemy actually is. But instead, they continue to slander black people and they continue to talk shit about them. And the black people is fighting the same oppressor as you. We all the same people. And after what had happened, despite all that, they still treat black people with racism and they still come against them for no reason. We not understanding that. We not understanding that part. So I'm gonna continue. It says, and they spoke peaceable words unto them, but was all deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote everyone sore and destroyed much people of Israel. Yeah, this is what white people do, you know. During that time, that story about the Black Wall Street, on how the black people was building cities, and they built that city. I forgot where it was. I'm gonna have to look it up. Wait, I'm gonna look that up after this. So it says, and when he had taken, it says and spake, it says and destroyed much people of Israel. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and the walls thereof on every side. It says, but the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle. It says, then builded they the city of David, which was a great strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made a stronghold for them. It says, and they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. It says, and they stored it also with armored and great and victuals. It says, and when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there. So they became a sore snare. Come on, you little asshole. Sorry to fold this book like that. I don't want to damage it. It says, for it was a place to lie and wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Jerusalem. It says, thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it, insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an inhabitant of strangers, and became strange to those who were born in her, and her own children left her. Right. During that time, I wouldn't be surprised if this was 70 AD. 70 AD was a different event, but this was um, um, 70 AD was a different event, but they did fled, so it made it sound like that. We did leave our homeland and abandon it because of the destruction that was coming from these white people, these ancient Greeks. It says, her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt. And as been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency turned into mourning. Moreover, the king Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. It says, yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. It says, for the king had sent many letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. So they forced them to convert. So during those times of slavery, the white man forced us to convert from Hebrew to English. Or if we would speak in African, we speak our different African tongues, we speak them, and then we translate, and they translate it to English, transferred us to English. So, and forced us, and when we believed in, you know, we probably knew Yahweh Shem Yahushai back then, even though we was under the guise of them African rulers that sold us out. But we know Israel, they worship other gods, and they did spiritual fornication. So it wouldn't be no surprise that they knew different. No, they knew African culture, and they had to abandon it. Or you got the mixture of the Israelites that knew that they were still Israelites, and they were forced to convert to Christianity during that time, and they had the slave Bible rewritten because the white man knew their ways and all of that. And like they said, they even had Israelites to not even Israelites, but Israelites did sell out. They did. I ain't even gonna lie. But ultimately they did force them to convert, or they would kill them, And during that time, a lot of us, that's where that Jesus Christ shit come in at, and it could be from way back then too, because Jesus Christ is pretty old. That idol is old, man. They go way back, but during that time after 70 AD, when we went into our final captivity, which is America and the other nations, they forced us to convert to their religion. It says, thus, it says, it says, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. So this white man changed the whole game on them. He changed the whole narrative, and changed their religions and forced them to believe and to convert to different ideologies, because it wasn't just Jesus. It was different ideologies, worshiping different false idols. They used to force them to do all kinds of shit, and it's the same way today, That's why you got all these different churches. You got all these different religions that's coming here. People worshiping Buddha, people worshiping Indonesian idols. Japanese people bringing in their little cat idol charities you could give to. You, by giving to them, is a form of worship, Then you got the damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh well, but you know what I'm saying. This place is a land of fucking idols, man. And the white man's law, that's law, and what he believes, he wants everybody else to believe. So I'm gonna get out of the book of Maccabees and give this book a break before I rip it apart, because it's old. And we could get that story in Black Wall Street. Fall of Black Wall Street. This is the good one right here. It says the devastation of Black Wall Street. It says in Tulsa, this is the devastation of Black Wall Street. It says in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921, a wave of racial violence destroyed. Oh my goodness, move. I'm tired of these fucking ads, bro. Move. Move, bitch. Move. It says a wave of racial violence destroys an affluent African American community seen as a threat to white dominated American capitalism. It says this is 1921. In 1921, Tulsa's Oklahoma's Greenwood district, known as Black Wall Street, was one of the most prosperous African American communities in the United States. But on May 31st of that year, the Tulsa Tribune reported that a black man, Dick Rowald, attempted to rape a white woman, which is not true, because they would use false accusations and reasons why they would just destroy or hang or dismember Israelites. It says Sarah Page, whites in the area refused to wait for the investigation process to play out. This is them during that time. Like I said, we barely leaving the 1900s, all the way from, from that time till now. It's only 2025, and a lot of this racism and all of that came to a decrease in like mid 90s, like the one that went like barely fucking 90s, barely, so it wasn't that long ago. There's still people alive from that time, like that old white president that just passed away. I think he lived from 1924 all the way to 2024. Like, and this nigga old, man. I don't even know how that's even possible for you to live that fucking long, but it's still people from those times that's living now. I'm seeing it all and then been through it all, even our own people, old war heroes and old rebel heroes and people that survived those racist times, bro. So it says whites in the area refused to wait for the investigation process to play out, sparking 2 days of unprecedented racial violence. 35 city blocks went up in flames. 300 people died and 800 were injured. Defense of white female virtue was the express motivation for this collective racial violence. So, shit, they used to burn down our shit, so how about Shem Shai had it sanctioned to where they places are burned down. So all them places that's in Los Angeles, all them richest homes from Palisade to Santa Ana and them other places that they said was on fire, yeah, them all rich ass white people. And here's the funny part, Japan talking about they sent $1 million to them people that the houses was burned up, but Africa said they was gonna send some money to the Israelites down here, and they was denied. But they allowed the Japanese donations to come in for those white people, but they denied the donations that was coming to us from Africa. They denied that. That's the white man for you, though. It says accounts vary on what happened between Page and Rowland. It says in the elevator of the Drexel building. Yet as a result of the Tulsa Tribune racial inflammatory report, black and white armed mobs arrived at the courthouse. Scuffles broke out and shots were fired. Since the blacks were outnumbered, they headed back to Greenwood, but the enraged whites were not far behind, looting and burning businesses and homes along the way. So their houses is burning down right now, and the Lord is paying them back for what they've done a long time ago. It says the state of Oklahoma had only 2 airports, yet 6 black families owned their own planes. So they was getting richer, and the white people was coming jealous about it. And what better way for them to set it up and to find a reason to attack them? And most likely, that sexual assault on the white woman never happened. It never happened. But she played her part in that event and played that out, like the murder of Emmett Till. You know, like how the white woman testified that the boy never touched her and the boy never did nothing to her. But she felt like, but through their hatred and through their disgust of black people and or the children of Israel, you know, she lied and said that Emmett Till did something to her and had him beat so bad to where he was unrecognizable. You know, this is one of another atrocity that these white people have done to the children of Israel. You know. So it says 9,000 people became homeless. Josie Pickens writes in Ebony. It says this modern, majestic, sophisticated, and unapologetic black community boasted of banks, hotels. It says banks, hotels, cafes, clothiers, movie theaters, and contemporary homes, not to mention luxuries such as indoor plumbing. It says, and remarkable school system that superiorly educated black children. Undoubtedly, less fortunate white neighbors resented their upper class lifestyle. As a result of jealous desire to put a progressive, high-achieving African Americans in their place, a wave of domestic white terrorism caused Black Depression. Okay, they don't go too much more in it. And then we can go to one of these books that I heard about a long time ago. 100 Years of Lynching.
According to Google Books, Ginsburg compiles vivid newspaper accounts from 1886 to 1960 to provide insight and understanding of the history of racial violence. First published in 1962, 100 Years of Lynchings is as relevant today as it was then.
All the props that we're going to have, all the props we get the ball in our hands. Get signed up for the app today and take the benefits. I know where they're going to go.
Okay, we could get one of these atrocities that happen. Oh, it's not showing me shit. I gotta go back. Give me 1 second. It's taking a long time to load up.
Swipe and earn money. Earning money by playing games is
I need
possible.
more money.
I choose the game that will earn me the most money from
That
here.
reminded
Thanks
me.
to
I can't wait to go to work.
Making money by playing games.
Oh, shut up. It's 100 years of lynching by Ralph Ginsburg. So we can go to the story real quick. One of those atrocities. Oh, we got a couple of them right here. This is New York Truth Seeker. It says in April 17th, 1880. So it says first Negro at West Point knifed by fellow cadets. It says West Point, New York City, April 15th, James Webster Smith. It says the first colored cadet in history of West Point. So he probably was one of the first black people to join the army. Or I may be wrong. It says was recently taken from his bed, gagged and bound and severely beaten. It says, and then his ears were slit. It says he says that he cannot indefinitely identify his assailants. The other cadets claimed that he did it to himself, so he didn't want to snitch because if he told, it would be a bigger event, and then that would get him killed, and he know exactly who did it, but he ain't gonna snitch, you know. But this is, I'm showing you the hatred and these atrocities that these white people have done to us that they're trying to forget about. But books like this exist. And this is why the internet is such a great threat, because all this information, if you don't find it in libraries, and you find it in the biggest library is the internet. So it says, Chicago Tribune. It says November 22, 1895. So if you go back from that millennium, from the 1900s, and go back to the 1895, this ain't that damn long ago. It might seem like it's forever. It might seem like a long time ago, but it ain't that long. So it says, Texans lynch wrong Negro. Oh. It says, Madisonville, Texas, November 24th. News has been received here of a lynching of a Negro in this part of Madison County on Tuesday night. He was accused of riding his horse over a little white girl, which is not true, and injuring her. On Wednesday, it was discovered that the wrong Negro had been gotten hold of by the mob. That says the guilty one made his escape. Or at least that's what they thought. Oh, this one blotted out. It says, editorial from the Springfield, Massachusetts Weekly Republican, January 19, 1806. These are reports that are in the old-fashioned newspapers, you know. And they even had postcards of lynchings. They even had postcards of burnings, you know. I'm trying to get to that one because I done read this before. I'm trying to get to that story. But I only got a couple of minutes. So it says the noble, it says white superiority in Florida. It says the noble and valiant Anglo-Saxon of Manatee County, Florida, or FLA, are engaged just now in a demonstration the superiority of the race, and demonstrating the superiority of the race. It says, some days ago, the son of the county sheriff and the son of a poor Negro quarreled, and the black was the victor. It says some days ago, the son of the county sheriff, which is a white man, and the son of a poor Negro quarreled, and the black was the victor in a boys' fight. Thereupon the sheriff and a number of brave white people they came to the Negro's cabin at night and demanded that the boy be handed over to them, because they was gonna kill him for winning the fight. But if he didn't fight, they was gonna kill him anyway. So this is the wickedness of the white man that they be trying to forget. So it says knowing what knowing what be his probable fate, the Negro refused to surrender his son. It says, on contrary, he seized a gun, and when the white mob fired upon the house, he returned fire and killed the sheriff. It says, then the whites in a rage picked up a log and rushed it upon the cabin door and battered it in. It says, and another shot from the Negro's gun killed another white man and fatally wounded a third. So the black man that they tried to kill and his son, or the black man that refused to give up his son happened to be a gunslinger, you know. So it says and killed another white man and fully fatally wounded a third. It says the mob retreated for reinforcements, and the Negro took his boy and his gun and made off for the swamps. At last account, he had not been captured and tortured to death. It says, but in lieu of this people, the noble and mainly whites were going about the country, flurrying into the cabins of innocent and defenseless blacks, burning up the homes of some, killing others, and ordering a general exodus of Negroes, threatening a boycott of employers of labor who would not discharge their Negro help. So it says, Kissimmee Valley, Florida, Gazette, April 28th, 1899. Okay, I think this is the one that I found it. It says, Sam Holt burning at the stake. Sam Holt, the Negro who was thought to have murdered Alfred Cranford and assailed Cranford's wife, it says, was burned at the stake 1 mile and a quarter from Newman, CA. It says, Sunday afternoon, July 23rd at 2:30 o'clock, fully 2,000 people surrounded the small sampling to which was fastened and watched the flames eat away his flesh. It says, saw his body mutilated by knives and witnessed the contortions of his body in his extreme agony. So they were stabbing him while he was on fire. It says, 2 counties, Campbell and Coweta, directly interested in the crimes of the Negro, and the entire state have waited with impatience for the moment when the Negro would pay the penalty for his fiendish deed. It says, such suffering has seldom been witnessed, and through it all the Negro utterly, hardly cried. It says, those who witnessed the affair saw the Negro meet his death and saw him tortured before the flames of an unforeign satisfaction for sickening sights. It says any occurrence, because it blotted out right there, I don't know why. It says any occurrence of a like overheard in the history of Georgia. It says a few smoldering ashes scattered about the place, a blackling at the stake. It says all that was left to tell the story. It says not even the bones of the Negro were left in peace, but were eagerly snatched by a crowd and of people drawn from all directions. It says who almost fought over the burning body of the man, so they ripped his body apart. After he burned at the stake, they stabbed him up, and the white people ripped his body and his bones apart, a crowd. It says from all directions. It says who almost fought over the burning body of the man, carving it with knives and seeking souvenirs of occurrence. So his leg could have been a souvenir, his private part could have been a souvenir, his head was a souvenir, his fingers, his arms, feet, It says Holt went to the stake with as much courage as anyone who would possibly have possessed on such an occasion. The only murmur that issued from his lips is when angry knives plunged into his flesh and his life's blood sizzled in the fire before his eyes. Then he cried out, oh my God, oh Jesus, that the crowd that burned Holt believed it made no mistake of his guilt or identity. But regardless, in the racism of the white people, he was guilty whether whether they believed it or not. It didn't matter if he was innocent or not. So it said after the flames licked his feet, it says he was temporarily removed from the sampling, at which the time he said to have admitted his guilt. It says one of the strange features of the entire affair is the part that he played in the execution by a northern man. It says this man, who was named not to be divulged by those who knew him, announced him that he was from the north, while he calmly saturated Holt's clothing with glycerine oil. It says Miss Cranford, the rape victim, was not permitted to identify the Negro, meaning that it wasn't true. It says she is ill, and it was thought that the shock would be too great for her. The crowd, satisfied with the identification of Holt by Mrs. Cranford, mother who did not, however, actually see Holt commit the crime. It says mass played no part of the lynching. There was no secrecy. It says no effort to prevent anyone seeing who lighted the fire, who cut off the ears, who took the head on the trunk of a tree nearby and pinned the following play card: "We must protect our Southern women." And that shit never happened. And remember, never to trust thine enemy, for as iron rusteth, so does his wickedness. Amen. And I'm gonna get more of it when I get home and do some more videos at home. But amen to the people that are listening, and I'm gonna bring Atrocities Part 2, or Part 3, I guess, and do it at the house because my hour is up. But from those ancient times till now, and to this day, it's still happening. Like the news report about the woman who was caught breaking the legs of black children in a hospital, that's going viral and super big, you know. And I guess she I don't know what they're gonna do with her in court. I didn't hear all of it, but that's another atrocity added onto their account, man. So when the Lord, that's one of the first things that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is gonna do. He gonna make the white people pay back in blood. He don't care. We gonna get all the treasuries. We gonna get everything, but the first thing that has to be settled is a blood debt. So everything, all the killings and all the murderings that was happening from those ancient times till now, and even all the way up to the day of judgment, the Lord is going to hold that accountable, or to Jacob's trouble, because that's when a lot of the bloodshed of these whites is going to begin. Like Yahweh said, Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. You know, everybody is going to be afraid of these niggas when the time collapse, you know. And Yahweh called Israel the battle axe, you know. So the battle axe is going to break the sword, and that time it's going to be a big ass fight, and it's going to be a lot of Israelite bloodshed. And it's going to be a lot of white man bloodshed, and any other nations that jump in to help him is going to get their ass whooped, you know. So but like I said, that blood debt has to be met first. He has to. That. You know, it's different types of money that he owed the Lord, and one of them is blood. You know, so that was Atrocities right there. And call on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and the name Yahushai is cold as hell. I'm about to get up out of here. That was actually a put together lesson by my little feeble mind. So I'm happy, you know, if I can give out education and help those that listen, you know, then that's all that matters to me. So shalom, shalom. I'll make another episode later.